So we're going to get the car on the road here now, and we're going to point the car that way.
Okay. So we're going to be going across the road.
Yeah, we're going to steer round the other way. Would you like a bit of help with this?
Well, I should probably know where my indicators are.
Oh yeah, but look at how easy is it going to be to get the car out onto the road. Do you know what the speed limit is on this road?
60.
Oh.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. So what's the view like in each direction?
Well, it's a bit of a blind spot. Well, it's a straight road, but it's not necessarily clear vision.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's quite a sharp. It's quite a sharp.
And until they cut the grass on this bit in the middle
we're
here.
We're going to be short of seeing oncoming traffic.
So can you move the car really slowly, do you think, towards that white line, bearing in mind that we're going to want to turn virtually 180 degrees?
Yeah, try my best.
Good, come on.
There's a tractor, oncoming tractor.
Right, are you ready to move?
No, so I'm just going to wait.
So, no, you're not. You're going to get yourself ready to move. And then we'll look to see what things are like.
Okay.
Is the engine on?
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
Press the gas pedal.
Yeah, it is on. Yeah, it is on.
If you look at the dashboard as well.
So it's on anyway, it's running anyway with me not having the foot on the clutch.
Because you haven't switched it off. And because you put the clutch down before we stopped.
No.
If you look at the dashboard, the two dials on the front there, do you know what information they're telling you?
15 miles per hour.
Yep, so that's the speed.
That's the speed I'm going.
And that one?
I'm not too sure actually.
It's the rev counter.
The rev counter.
For the engine.
Okay.
Is that on 0?
No.
So that tells you the engine's on.
Okay.
So if you're not sure, look at that.
Yeah.
If it's not on 0.
I wasn't actually sure what that one did, to be honest.
Yeah. So when you press the gas pedal, watch what happens to the rev counter.
I haven't.
Go on, press it.
Yeah, the revs, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. How fast do we want to go towards that white line?
Very, very slowly.
Good. So we're going to use the gas pedal?
No.
Correct answer.
Yeah.
We might not even use the clutch to start with, apart from put it right down and put it into gear. What's on the road, quite honestly, is irrelevant to me at the moment until we get near that white line.
Alright.
So just take the handbrake off. Right, we're not moving. So how are you going to get the car to move?
Slightly. Raise the clutch to find the brake.
And as soon as the car does move, don't worry about the gas pedal.
So will it move once I find that bike then?
There we are. Steer around and more steering. Put the clutch down.
Yeah. Can I brake?
And let's brake to a stop. And your view to the left now is left. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's quite clear.
And your view to the right?
It's okay, but yeah, it is annoying.
It's awful. Yeah. I think it's, well, you can probably just about see,
they
but
can be hidden between the grassery.
So what, we either sit here and wonder, oh Craig, I can't see, I'm never going, or if it's clear to the left, we just have a little crawl out.
Okay, and I do that by just pressing the accelerator slightly.
Do you need? Did you use the accelerator just then? Okay. Does it look clear? Good. And we take the car onto the correct side of the road. And we straighten up. Is there anything coming behind us?
No.
Let's just pull over to the left. And we'll straighten the car up. Don't steer back out into the road. That's it. And we'll just come to a stop. Okay. Doing what with your feet? Lovely. And now you've stopped.
Yeah, so you want me to completely stop? So I can let up.
And whoop.
I'll put myself back.
You've got 2 feet.
Sorry, put myself into neutral.
Yeah.
Put myself into neutral. And then take my foot off the clutch.
Just turn the engine off.
And then the engine, yes.
Right. When you moved off in the lay-by, how did you make sure it was safe to go?
By looking and making sure my foot
So
shouldn't be on the brake.
you look at me straight in the face and keep a straight face. And
So I should have probably braked a little bit.
did you look to make sure it was safe to go?
I was looking, yeah.
Sure.
I think so, but I probably should have stopped.
Right. Okay.
I just
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So
I had looked prior and in between,
Oh,
but I was
good,
looking during
good.
as well.
now, moving off safely from here.
Yeah.
What are you going to? Do you think you need to do to make sure it's safe to go?
Make sure the road's clear.
How are you going to do that?
By checking my mirrors and checking my mirrors
Okay.
and looking behind.
Doesn't that mirror do the same as looking behind?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So what's the purpose of checking this mirror?
To see if there's anything close to that side of the car coming out.
How relevant is this mirror here?
Relevant. Quite relevant.
Is it? In this particular location?
Not that relevant, no.
No. I think somewhere else, maybe where there's a driveway or a road, a junction behind you, it might be. But here, that's the wild man of Borneo is going to come out from all this lot here.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that relevant. That one you're using because you want to... What do you want to do with that? Are you going to use that mirror? And if so, what's the purpose of using that mirror? Because there always has to be a purpose for doing things.
Yeah, so I'm looking in that mirror to see what's behind me, and this one to see maybe the distance of how far something is behind me, so that if something's close to me, then I can see easier in that one.
Will you see anything?
I see the side of my vehicle this way and the back of it.
Right, so it's giving you some different information.
Yeah, it's giving me a different perspective.
Yeah. Anywhere else you think it's worth looking to make sure it's okay to go?
I don't know. Just behind the car, the side of the car. Yeah, just behind.
So the engine's turned off. You might need to turn the electrics on. But what you do now is put your window right down.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's a logical sequence to those 4 window switches.
Can they go down?
That's the one behind you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Put the one behind you back down again. Now you've now brought candy floss into the car.
I have.
Right,
get rid of it.
I'm going to get out of the car now and I'm going to walk along about a metre out from the car, as long as there's no traffic coming.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is watch me in the big mirror. Ignore the little circular one.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
And I want you to tell me when I disappear.
Okay.
Because I will at one point.
How will I'll just...
Yeah. We've got the window open so we'll be able to shout to each other.
Yeah.
You can see me at the moment.
Yeah.
Tell me when I disappear from that big mirror.
Now.
So I'm on my motorbike.
Where?
You're about to pull out into the second lane.
So I have to look out as well.
Similarly, if there was a road here or a driveway and somebody turning out,
Yeah.
but this is where your blind spot is.
Yeah.
It's not out this window, just here.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I also have to look.
So do you think it's a good idea to look there as well?
Yeah.
At what point are you going to look to make sure it's safe? With all the other things you're doing to get the car ready to go.
Before I start the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we have a look around now? Fair enough. Okay. We're going to get the car ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, so... Sorry. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Right, we're now half a minute since you checked that it was safe to go.
Okay. So I need to...
Take it out and get it for a moment. Do you think the road conditions might have changed since you looked to see whether it was safe? Leave the engine on.
Yeah.
So do you think that's the best time to check that it's okay to go?
So when should I have done that? So I looked where I was going, I went to put myself into first, and then to take my foot off the clutch. When should I have looked?
So let's go through all. So you're putting the clutch down,
Yeah.
going into first gear,
Yeah.
you're finding the biting point.
And that's sort of making me roll forward slightly.
Well, it depends how hard you've got the handbrake on.
Okay.
But you're finding the biting point. It shouldn't make us go forwards. It should
Yeah.
you should just get the tug.
Yeah.
And then you're getting some gas and you're taking the handbrake off. So where in all of that lot do you think it'd be critical to know that it's safe to go?
Before I go to manoeuvre forward.
So what have you got left to do?
So when my clutch is down and I've changed gear, then I can look and then try and
So
find
you've
the
still got to find the biting point.
So once I found the biting point, I look.
Okay, and what's left to do? Once you've found the biting, what else is left?
And what? Put the handbrake down and accelerate.
But you think at the point where you're about to go would be a good time to make sure it's safe?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can look beforehand if you want to, but that's the critical time.
Yeah, cause that's what I did, and then so as soon as I'm about to put my handbrake down and accelerate is when I need to double check.
That's the critical time. Yeah. Have a look before. That's right. And if there's a car coming from behind, don't wait until it's gone.
No.
I know this one's gone now.
Yeah.
But if you'd been ready to go now, you could have gone as soon as they've gone past. Because what might happen now is another car comes along. Oh, I'm going to sit and wait for that one.
No.
Then I'll get ready. Oh, there's another car.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's see if you can move off safely
Yeah.
with all those checks as well at the critical time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is the engine on?
No.
Sure?
So
Look at the information.
My engine is on. Yeah. So I put this down and then change into first, and then slightly lift it off and find my biting point first, and then
feel that?
Yeah.
So where do you want your hand? Where do you want your left hand now?
To be on the handbrake, but I need to look.
And if it's safe?
And make sure that
if it's clear?
Yeah. And it's clear. So I've stalled.
Correct. Well spotted. Well done, Sherlock. Right.
Yeah.
So let's secure the car again. By that I mean, yeah,
putting the handbrake on, putting the car back into neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also put my foot off the accelerator. But it's now on. The car is now on.
So, when you took the handbrake off, what happened to the car? Apart from the stall, did the car try to move?
Yeah.
Which way?
Forward.
So, everything seemed to be working,
Yeah.
and then suddenly it didn't. Any idea why?
Maybe I had lifted my foot off too quickly and didn't accelerate enough.
So, shall we see if that corrects it?
No, I didn't have my foot on the brake. I should have had my foot on the brake.
Why, do you want to stop?
I don't know what the right answer is yet.
Well, you've just given two. Clutch came up too quickly. Didn't have much gas.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if that's the answer.
So should I start all over again? Okay.
By doing what you've just said, let's see if that works.
Okay. Checking.
So have you got the biting point?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so we're going to check it's okay. Have we checked it's okay?
Yeah.
Have we done our blind spot?
Yeah, I did before.
Telling pork is there.
No, not.
Not really, not just before you did it. No, come on, let's keep going.
Okay.
Pick a bit of speed. Ever change gear?
No, so I need to change gear to...
Straight back. Get. Okay. There we are, well done.
Yeah.
So 60 limit road on here and we're doing 10.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting you to do 60.
No. So when do I know when to change to?
What do you feel that's the speed where you want to change?
Now.
Do you feel that?
Not really.
Well, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
So what if we change to 3?
I think changing gear is very much something that you will, with experience, you'll work out this is the right time to do it, or this is the right gear. We want to try and match the gear to the speed of the car. So when you brought the clutch back up again, did it feel smooth?
Yeah, it felt a lot.
And that's basically the car telling you, yeah, we're going at a speed that matches the gear.
Okay.
So, could we go a little bit faster along here? Lovely straight road, it's fairly empty, there's not too many hazards to deal with, and what you want to be doing along here is looking at down the centre of your side of the road, not at the car coming the other way, because you will drift across the road towards it. If you look at the white line, you'll drift towards it. If you look at the grass on the edge, you'll drift towards it. How can we get the car going a bit faster here?
By changing
Just squeeze the gas pedal.
Just don't want to go too fast, like
Well, you're just using that. Do we need to stay on the gas all the time? Possibly not. What gear were you going to change to?
I was going to change to a lower gear.
But do we need to now?
Not now.
But that, you know, did we need to change to a lower gear there?
No, because I didn't feel like it was struggling actually.
But you're absolutely right in what you're saying, that that was the next option if we needed it.
Yeah. If it was a bit steeper, maybe it was struggling.
Yeah.
So when like I brake, I'm just braking, I'm just putting my foot off the accelerator and then slightly pressing the brake. Am I doing anything to the clutch? Because the clutch and the brake emergency brake. That makes sense.
Not desperately. In a little while, I'm going to...
So like when I do an emergency brake, is that with just clutch and brake? Does that make sense?
I'm going to sort of answer that question in a moment. A little bit further along here, we will come to a stop. So, anybody behind you? Put an indicator on. Left, down, 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 down. Squeeze the brake, squeeze the brake, squeeze the brake, bit more. Bring the, and put the clutch down. Right down. Before you move either foot.
I am putting the handbrake.
I think you moved the left foot.
Did I?
You've come off the clutch, haven't you?
Didn't mean to. I didn't notice, sorry. I didn't mean to.
Right.
So I put that up. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Do I keep that on?
So we came to a stop there. We were doing roughly 30 mile an hour along here. And what did I get you to do? What was the first thing you did to slow the car down?
Press brake.
So what did your right foot have to do before it got to the brake?
Oh, well, lift off. I stopped with the acceleration.
Off the gas,
Off the gas.
onto the brake,
Onto the brake.
and before we stopped, or just a little bit before we stopped,
We indicated.
yeah, because there was somebody behind us, but what did you do with your left foot?
I put it on the clutch. Put down the clutch.
Yeah. Now, if once we'd stopped, you'd kept the clutch down while you did both of these, the engine would have stayed on.
Okay. Yeah.
But because when we stopped, you just came off the clutch, the engine cut out.
Okay.
Do you know what the purpose of the clutch is?
To help you change gear smoother.
That's one thing it does, yeah. Well, to help you change gear, because you have to put it down, okay.
Maintain like a steady level of control.
Well, the actual purpose of the clutch is basically to connect the engine to the wheels. So when you're in gear and you're coming up to that biting point, the clutch is very simply made up of a couple of metal plates. The engine one is rotated when the engine's on. You get to the biting point and the clutch plates bite together.
Yeah.
So the engine one connects to the wheel plate and tries to make the wheels turn. That's where the tug comes from. So as soon as you take the handbrake off, the wheels can turn.
Yeah, I see.
Right? That's what it's there for. So if you're slowing down and slowing down and slowing down, the wheel plate slows right down and slows down and slows down. And if you don't put the clutch down, the plates stay together and the wheel plate stops, and it stops the engine plate, which cuts the engine out. So as long as you put the clutch down before we stop, the engine plate will still go round, but it won't be trying to drive you forwards, nor will the clutch, the wheel plate, be able to stop the engine.
Okay, so I'll keep it down before I've turned everything.
We don't want the clutch down ages and ages before we stop. We don't want to be, it's what's called coasting. Have you heard that term?
When you're just driving in neutral?
Yeah, you've got no, very little or less control anyway over the car.
Yeah.
So it's there to change gear, it's there to put it down, it prevents you stalling when you're going mega slow.
Yeah.
But also we're likely to use the clutch at various times to control the speed, like you did coming out of the lay-by. We just used the clutch enough just to go really slowly, and when we wanted to stop before we came out of the lay-by, what did you do with the clutch? Pushed it right down. So the engine is no longer connected to the wheels, so the engine couldn't drive us out into the road until we knew it was clear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah?
Yeah, because when you lift it up, it's slightly like more, it's running a bit closer together.
Yeah, the further up it comes, the more the engine is able to drive the car forwards.
It's a bit more relaxed.
When it's down, the engine is not connected to the wheels, so it can't affect your, well, it can affect your speed, but it can't drive you forwards.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
So, when you told me then to sort of indicate, I wasn't sure, and then to stop.
Yeah, so I should have said indicate left. That's my fault.
No, that's okay.
That's not.
No,
it's not.
As I was stopping, the last thing I do is lift up the clutch.
The last thing you do is push the clutch down. Then the engine is disconnected from the wheels.
My foot wasn't on the clutch at all. So
So that's why I said get the clutch down. We were actually much nearer the junction than I thought we were, so it was a little bit hurried what I got you to do there. I thought we were a bend further back along the road.
Oh, I see, okay. So I don't touch the clutch. So once I've obviously changed gear, I'm leaving it. And then when you told me to brake, then you just expected me to lift off, don't accelerate anymore. And slowly
Because you can't, because your right foot is going to the other pedal.
And slowly brake. And then once I've braked.
Right. The more progressive and gradual the braking is, the more gentle it is, and the smoother it is for your passenger, especially ones who will be in the back, because they will find it any sudden change is magnified when you're in the back. You've got something to hold on to. Lucky you. I haven't, but I knew what was coming. Get a couple of people in the back with the head restraints as well, can't really see what's going on ahead. And one day somebody will thump you in the back of the seat because they've had to brace themselves because you brake too hard.
So I braked really hard.
No, you didn't. But my point is, try and anticipate what's coming, so you just lovely, nice, progressive braking.
Which is just softly on the brake.
Well, as softly as it needs to be. You'll work it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to brake hard. We'll talk about emergency stops. That's when you really are. Oh crap! There's something in the road. I've got to stop.
Yeah.
Right. I doubt very much that you're that familiar with this road.
No,
didn't think you would be.
This is what Fairmile Road is.
We're on the way to Fenny Bridges and then back to Fairmile. Yeah. But look what we've got coming up ahead.
A junction.
Yes. If we go left, we get on the dual carriageway. If we go right, we go through Fenny Bridges. I think I just worked out which way you want to go.
Yeah.
While we're here, what about all those different shaped signs? You've just passed your theory test.
Yeah.
So
the triangular sign is warning, and the circles are orders.
And the rectangles?
Rectangles, I'm not really sure who's missed them one. Rectangles are if there's I think the only rectangular sign that comes into my head is the ones that are brown and they're tourist destination.
Okay.
So that's locating you of an area, maybe.
Giving you a bit of information.
So yeah, giving you give away 200 yards. So that's just alerting.
You got the warning triangle. which is the give way sign,
Yeah.
you just got a bit of information about
Just
where it is.
information.
The next one, the information is if you go left, well, you go into the trees, but it will say Honiton on there. If you go right, you can just about see it says Exeter and Ottery St Mary.
Okay.
So there's just some information on there, and
Yeah.
incorporated into that is an instruction that if you're over 15 foot tall, you will not get under the railway bridge, so don't go under it.
Yeah.
Would you like me to give you a bit of help with getting out of this junction?
I can't even picture what's coming up, to be honest.
No, of course you can't. There's no way I'm going to leave you to do this yourself, and that's no reflection on you. You've never been here before. We've never done any work on emerging at junctions, so let's just see if we can do a team effort to get ourselves out of it when we get there.
Okay.
So the first thing is moving off safely.
Yeah.
Prioritise one thing after the other. Well, the junction is not a priority at the moment. Moving off safely is. Is the engine on?
Yeah.
Look at the information. That's
The
it.
engine is on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my foot down on clutch, change to first, slowly rest it off. Slowly.
Where do you want your left hand at the moment?
I want my left hand.
Yeah, have it there ready to use.
Because I'm checking with you where I am. See if it's okay.
Is the road clear? Look at that. And now to get the car moving, a bit of gas. Well, lovely. Now that's sounding a little bit racy. Let's leave it. Ideally, yes, we want a higher gear. We've got a junction coming up fairly soon. It's round this bend, so we've got to get round there first.
So it's sounding racy. Do I change gear now?
I wouldn't worry about that. We'll leave the gear change. It's something we don't need because we want to be coming up quite slowly to the junction. So you just come around here. Now there's nobody.
But this is an indication of the engine struggling, though, right? This noise now.
Well, it's not struggling, no. So we're going to turn right. So we just come up to here, straight up towards that triangle, and we'll just have a little look to the right. Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You see, clutch down and sorry,
Okay.
and put the clutch down as well. You stop the car, great. Put the clutch down. Put the handbrake on. Whoop. Now you can come off the foot brake.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, I was thinking.
Can I just let's get away from the junction first, then you can come back to that. So put the clutch down.
Yeah.
Get your smell. Just clutch right down, out of gear, then back in again. Sure, that's first gear.
No, that's not. No, why am I stuck then? There you go.
Yep. Let's find the biting point. See, there's a red car just come round the bend down the end now. So there's nothing else. Oh, yes, there is. So there's another car coming. Try and hold the clutch there. It's hard work keeping it in the same place. As soon as that car goes past.
Can I go now?
No, there's another car coming. We got stuck here this morning as well.
That's okay.
All these cars kept coming. So now take the handbrake off. Oh, look at that. And look where you want to go. Don't keep steering that way. Steer where you want the car. That was lovely. Well done. I like that exit there. So what do you think now about your gear?
It's struggling like a lot, so I need to change it in a second. But I need to put the clutch down.
Yeah, you do. And then the clutch back up again. And what speed do we want to go around here at? Just a speed where you feel comfortable that you can get the correct steering. Come back though, if you can remember what your question was, we can come back to that in a minute, but I didn't really want to sit at the junction and talk of it.
Yeah. It was just only when you asked me about putting my clutch down, I thought that it was just brake. So after a brake, then put the clutch down?
Yeah,
or?
because the engine cuts out, you see.
Okay, yeah.
But the important thing was to stop, because there were cars coming. That's much more important than anything else. So what do you think now about your speed and your gear?
So I need to increase my speed, so I need to...
We have increased the speed already.
A little bit, yeah. So I need to change into third, possibly?
just want to be around about 30 mile an hour, ideally before we get there, but we don't want to slow down a lot below that because there's nothing ahead. Looking down the centre of your lane, especially when the road narrows a bit like that, you're looking where you want to go rather than at the oncoming vehicle. Yeah, well done. So it's all the way through here, it's 30 mile an hour. How do I know it's 30 mile an hour? If I hadn't seen the sign, how would I know it's 30 mile an hour down here?
Because of the traffic lights.
Street lights, you mean?
Street lights.
You have done your theory test recently.
Sorry,
well done.
There's street lights.
No, absolutely right. Yeah. If we don't have street lights, what's the default speed limit going to be?
60.
So this driver here is turning off, so somewhere. So I assume I'm expecting them to slow down and or brake lights to come on.
Yeah.
So ahead we've got a new speed limit. What's the first thing you want to do?
Check that it's okay and then increase.
Check what? What did you check?
I checked that.
You checked that, you looked there straight away.
Yeah.
Why?
Just in case there's traffic overtaking.
Exactly, there was.
Yeah, so I reduced my speed slightly.
Well, I don't think it's not so much reduce it, but just be aware of the driver behind who might want to go a lot faster. So this next circular sign is telling you
That national speed limit.
which for this road is
60 now.
so you could have people doing 60 or more.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily think is the real part.
Well, let's have a little think about this road here at the moment. How far ahead can you see?
Not very far.
Exactly.
Just need to slightly reduce my speed.
I wouldn't worry. I think the speed you're doing is okay, but I don't think I'd want to be doing 60 at that point.
No.
What's coming up next?
Coming up to a junction.
Do you want to be doing 60 going past there with the possibility of somebody pulling out?
No.
So I think this is very much a case of drive to the road rather than the speed limit.
Yeah.
So we'll take the left turn for Fairmar, so it's not these.
Oh, yeah,
We've got to go up past round the bend and then we'll turn. We'll go through all the routine for turning left and right next time I see you. There's other things
we're
here.
turning
So
right
we're going
next.
left here. So shall we indicate, just in case something turns up at the junction at the last minute, like that, so they now know you're coming down here. They're not guessing whether you're going this way or that way. New speed limit. Is it worth checking what's behind you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just in case there's oncoming traffic. Now that I'm increasing my speed, it feels like it's okay. Do I need to change gear or something?
Well, how well do you know this road? What's coming up in the distance? Circular sign. Circular sign is almost certainly going to be
30.
a new speed limit.
Yeah.
Would it have been a waste of time going up to a higher gear?
Yeah. So as I was turning out in to come in left now, I shouldn't have changed gear then, no.
Well,
That makes sense, like a lower gear.
Now, how are you going to keep the car around about 30 down this steep hill?
Just slowing down.
That's it. Just using the brake. Yeah. And try not to go down, as I say, too much below 30.
Yeah.
And to get out the other side.
So I'm indicating right here, aren't I?
No, we're not going home yet.
Okay.
Crikey, you've ages to go. Yeah.
Yay!
Carrying on up the road. So to get the car up the hill and just get on the gas. Get on the gas. Get on the gas.
Okay. I just feel like I'm worrying I'm going too fast for, like, you know, I don't know, I don't want you to think I'm going too fast or something, so...
We're doing 20, 30 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So we're bang on the speed limit.
Okay. Now it's...
If you'd left it too long there,
Yeah.
new speed limit, so the first thing you do,
Is check for
Yep.
oncoming traffic. Well, traffic overtaking.
and in the distance, you can see,
I can see a national speed limit.
Yeah.
That's 60. No. 60.
well, it was back there,
Yeah.
the previous one. So, and pick the speed up nicely. What about another gear?
Oh no, sorry. Just down.
Well done. Now you're in a higher gear with less power.
Yeah.
So if you're not careful, if you don't get on the gas, you probably will need to go back to a lower gear.
Yeah. So I should probably do lower gear now.
Well, let's just get up here. Just come off the gas. Nothing behind us.
Yeah.
Right off the gas. Right off.
Yeah.
Right. So we've pretended now that we've had to slow down. Well, we have done. So try a lower gear. And does that give you the power to get going again? Try it. Come on, we haven't tried it. Well, we've got down to first gear now.
Yeah.
That jolt is the car telling you we didn't need to be that. Get on the gas. Get on the gas. Get on the gas.
Yeah.
Power to get the car going
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And use it for as long as you need to.
Still struggling a bit.
Oh, that's because you took some time to bring the clutch up, and you're on the gas already.
Yeah. Okay. Should I change
I wouldn't
gear?
say that was struggling. What do you reckon?
No.
So it needs a gear change?
Yeah, I think so.
Go on then. Yeah, okay, you're just on the gas before the clutch bites. That's what that noise is.
I need to wait.
Yeah. Now, we have a sign here, give way 200 yards. When we get there, we're going to turn right. Well, there is a vehicle behind. It's a long way back. Come off the gas. How are you going to slow the car down?
Right.
Yes. Just put a right indicator on there. Just knock it upwards. That's right. So we're staying on the brake. Staying on the brake. Now we don't want to slow. We don't want to stall. So we've got to do with the clutch.
Put it down.
Squeeze the brake a bit more. Put the clutch right down. Get out the shrubbery. Put the clutch. A bit more brake. First gear. Put the first gear. Come off the brake.
Yeah.
Just use the clutch and a bit of gas now. Is it clear to go? Right. As soon as you can, start steering round. Bit of gas. And up comes the clutch. Stay on the gas, clutch up, gently. There we go. Lovely. Well done.
That sounds really bad.
I know it does. Horrible, isn't it?
What have I done?
No matter. We're going to go left. We'll go left here.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's leave a gear. Because you're in the highest gear. Sorry, the
Is that 'cause
lowest
I need
gear.
to change gear?
So it's most power. So if you get on the gas too much, you zoom off.
Should I have gone into lower gear then?
Well, we haven't got a lower gear. That's the lowest gear we've got.
Okay, no.
Oh, so what's that telling? Sound of the engine. What's it
I
telling?
need to change
Come on
gear
then, let's
now.
do that. That's it.
Possibly. Can I
Oh.
skip a gear? No.
Well, whether you can or not, you just
Yeah.
have. Right, so that feels not enough power, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's all. No,
Sorry,
this is nice because you're realising, or you're working out
Yeah.
what's the best gear for the speed you're doing, which is really nice.
Yeah, so I'm 2 now.
Can you skip gears? Yes, you can. If the gear you're going to matches the speed of the car.
Okay.
That's the key.
Does that reduce fuel? Because I think on my theory it said you can skip gears to reduce fuel consumption.
Well, we'll have a look in it. Right. Look at the rev counter.
Yeah.
4.5. Put it into third gear. Look at the rev counter now. The same speed.
Yeah.
Quite a bit lower. Yeah?
So yeah. So that's gonna. So if I'm in a high gear and I don't need to, it's like increases.
Right. Now down the bottom here, we've got another junction.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to help you with this.
Okay.
When we get there, we're going to turn right.
Yeah.
You'll see why in a minute as well. So I would just start squeezing the brake. The driver behind will know what's coming up, so we'll expect you. We're going to turn right. We're going to turn right. Just tell the driver behind.
Yeah.
Now give way there. That spells stop. I'll tell you that. For this junction, it spells stop. Put the clutch down. We're going to come up to the white line. Don't brake too much yet. Up a bit. And now we'll brake to a stop. Put the handbrake on. What gear we're going to use to move off?
We're gonna use first.
Yes, quite right.
So I need to put my foot into first.
We get ready to go. What's the view like to the right?
It's okay, but there's oncoming.
What about the left?
The left is okay.
Awful. No, that's not.
Yeah.
Well, that's not okay
That's
at all.
awful.
And speed limit
I
on
thought
this
you meant
road?
like 60.
Yes.
So it's like a bit blind for me.
So let's wait until we've got a lovely clear view to the right and know that we've got at least one direction that looks